With the new Madden 22 cover dropping in a couple days, we started thinking about Madden curses and whether or not they're still relevant or not.
Climb aboard with Steven and Scott as they set sail on a journey to unite all Bucs fans and batten down the hatches.
So since Madden 2000, and really all the years before that, Madden himself was on the cover. But since 2001, they started putting actual players on the cover, and that birthed this idea of a Madden curse, where whoever was on the cover either got hurt or didn't perform well that season. So we are going to investigate how true that really is.
Let's take a look at the history behind the Madden curse.
So when I remember the Madden curse, it used to be the player would like get hurt the next year. And I feel like that's become a little more lax, and to be like, well, maybe they'll just have a bad season the next year. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know who originally got hurt or who like spawned this whole thing.
It started with Eddie George. It was like he had another great season, but it was like he basically made a mistake that was crucial to ending their season. So that birthed the Madden curse.
He was on the cover. He had a great season, but in the playoffs, he did bobble a pass that Ray Lewis intercepted and returned, and it kind of lost the Titans the game. So that was like, uh-oh. He was on the cover, but it ended badly that year for him. So that was kind of the beginning of the curse. Even though that's not a major curse, obviously they lost the playoff game.
I mean, that's pretty huge.
It is, but I mean, he still had a good
pass.
season. And he didn't get injured or anything like that.
Yeah, but he was the reason why they didn't advance.
Yeah, so I could
he
see.
was cursed.
Case dismissed. I could see how it could be.
Who's next?
2001, that occurred. 2002, we got Culpepper on the cover.
He like lit it up. It was crazy because he had Randy Moss and he was just
Chris
kind
Carter.
of yeah, both of them I think.
Yeah,
it was like bombs away.
right.
Just throwing touchdowns all over the place. That was when he hurt his knee, right?
Apparently, yeah, they went 4-7 that year he was on the cover, and then he hurt his knee, which ended his season. So he actually did suffer a season-ending injury, which made the curse even worse.
Yeah, it was picking up some serious steam at this point. So I think it's safe to say
the first two definitely cursed.
that
It worked.
Cursed.
2003, Marshall Faulk on the cover. That was like the era of the greatest show on turf. The Rams were pretty much killing it.
Yeah, he was awesome.
Yeah. He finished the season with 953 rushing yards, 537 receiving yards. He did have an ankle injury that season, though.
Maybe cursed a little.
I mean, he almost hit 1,000 yards that season, though. 2003, they probably made the playoffs that year, because that was...
I mean, it is football. Like,
yeah, people are going to get hurt, especially running backs.
and they're playing hurt. Every player is playing hurt.
That,
so,
too. We'll say not cursed on that one.
I mean, he did get hurt.
Okay. So, literally anyone who gets hurt. And he never rushed for 1,000 yards after appearing on the cover.
That's a curse.
He got hurt because he was on the cover, and then he never rushed for 1,000 yards again. Cursed. Madden 2004, Mike Vick was one of the league's brightest young stars.
He was.
Had a great postseason, obviously didn't win the Super Bowl, and then he broke his leg in the preseason after getting on the cover.
Basically the same scenario as all these guys. They had a great season before, and then the next season he was primed and ready to go. His name was hot in the streets, and in the preseason he broke his leg. There's only one way to go with that one.
Cursed. 2005, Ray Lewis. I don't feel like he got cursed. I don't feel like he ever had a bad season or a season-ending injury.
Well, he was injured.
He got hurt too?
Yeah.
Ravens failed to make the playoffs in 2004. He played through a series of injuries, and then he suffered a season-ending hamstring injury after 6 games. So he also got injured.
He was hurt, yeah. Plus, didn't he have that case where he may or may not have taken somebody's life?
Madden 06, Donovan McNabb. I feel like this is when we started playing a lot. Like, I remember that cover.
Yeah.
And that game case being open and closed quite a bit. So in 2006, I guess, yeah, him and Terrell Owens were lighting it up. And then I guess they got into their off-field tiff. He also was injured with a hernia.
Missed 7 games.
Missed 7 games.
So that's absolutely cursed.
That's a curse.
That's a curse.
Sean Alexander, 2007. He broke his foot in 2006 and missed 6 games.
Was he injured before?
He must have broke his foot like right as he went on the cover. After he was on the cover, he only had 730 rushing yards for the next 2 seasons of his career.
Yeah, he was like amazing, the leading running back in the league, and then Madden came along,
Broke his foot.
fumbling and bumbling, cursed him.
Never hit 1,000 yards again.
Never again.
Literally every player so far
Every player.
has been injured or lost a playoff game or both.
The curse is real. Madden 08, the cover was Vince Young.
2006, he was a rookie and was killing it. But then started throwing a lot of picks in 2007. And then he kind of went downhill after that. He was hot as a rookie. He was like a new mobile quarterback when really that wasn't going. I mean, they were, some of them, obviously Vic, McNabb, even before that, like Warren Moon.
Yeah.
There were...
The thought was that he was going to be like the next McNabb, or I think Steve McNair was like his mentor too.
Yeah, McNair,
so him
that's
going
true.
to the Titans, he was
Right.
like, okay, the Titans, you know, McNair's time's over, but
Yeah.
now we got Vince Young, and that's his heir apparent. I think a lot of his issues were mental too, if I remember correctly. I think there was like his Wonderlic score came out and it was only like a 6 or something like that, and people were like, oh, they shouldn't release that. And
Yeah.
it was basically, he was a big, tough, mobile guy, and that's kind of what he lived off of.
That's where it ended. So it worked a little bit, but then, yeah, he threw 17 picks and 9 touchdowns in 2007. I guess the passing yards and being a rookie was enough to get him on the cover, and they thought he had the potential to keep that going.
Yeah.
But it looks like he was out of the league by 2011.
So his stock
Plummeted
plummeted.
in the
so
4 years.
That's kind of...
I'd say that's a curse.
Yeah, let's say
I
a
mean,
curse. Let's go
curse.
curse.
That was a good Madden, though. That was like one of the last good ones. I feel like. That was one we played a lot, too, I feel like.
Yeah, I do remember that one.
Brett Favre, 2009 Madden.
Favre.
I mean, he was on Green Bay here.
Yep.
Um,
He ended up on the Vikings, on the Jets. He ended up sending pictures of his penis to somebody. It's like, I'll show you what I got in my Wranglers.
he was... He was in and out of retirement, and it was apparently that offseason, that whole saga where he was going to maybe come back, maybe not, maybe be a Packer, maybe he wouldn't.
There was speculation that he was coming to Tampa to play for Gruden around that time.
Yeah, after this cover, he played for the Jets that 1 year. He did play the entire season. He did throw a league-high 22 interceptions that year. But then he did go on to go to Minnesota and did pretty well, I think. I mean, he was still...
They
he-
went to the playoffs.
Yeah, he went to the playoffs. He had
Yeah.
that crazy Hail Mary pass to win the one game. That's like one of the best Hail Marys I've ever seen that I remember.
Yeah.
So obviously he was like going through some turmoil when he was on the cover and after.
Well, yeah, he was Green Bay's guy up
Yeah.
until then, but they had drafted Rodgers a few years before that, so the writing was kind of on the wall. But
Yeah, I think if he had not waffled as much as he did, every season it was like, I don't know if I'm coming back. And they were like, well, we don't know what to do until you make a decision. Like if he was just always like Brady.
yeah,
If he was like Brady and he was like, I'm going to play this many more years, book it. I think he would have been in Green Bay the whole time. No
Yeah.
problem. I think they would have had him.
so I think maybe Favre's the first one that escaped the curse.
I think so. Didn't get hurt, and he went on to have more successful years. And on other teams, which is hard to do.
But he ended up on the Jets for that 1 year, so that's kind of a curse.
Brett Favre broke that curse.
Safe.
Madden 10. This was the first time they ever shared a cover like this, which was cool. Fitzgerald had a good season, almost caught 100 passes and went for over 1,000 yards, and had a league-high 13 touchdowns. Palomalu did actually get injured and miss 11 games.
He was definitely cursed.
Yeah, where it's you got the split cover here, and you got a split decision. Palomalu clearly cursed, and Fitzgerald crushing it as Fitzgerald does. So we'll have to split that one, I think.
Yeah, split decision.
Split curse.
Yeah.
Madden 11, you got Drew Brees, who obviously went on to freaking play very well for a very long time until Brady retired him. So he was on the Saints from 2006 to 2011 and then finally made the cover. He came into the Saints and made them 10-6. He completed 68.1% of his passes for 4,620 yards and 33 touchdowns after being on the cover. So,
I think he's safe.
yeah. Madden 12, Peyton Hillis for the Cleveland Browns did have a breakout year in the season before that for almost 1,200 yards in 16 games. But after that, he pretty much went downhill.
Went down Hillis.
Went downhillis. Had some contract disputes and then missed a bunch of the season in 2011 with an injury. Then he bounced around the league for a few seasons and then was just out of the league completely. So he pretty much brought the curse back into full effect.
Yeah, 100%.
Had a great season, got on the cover, and then just immediately flopped.
Madden was like, I'm tired of this. Somebody's gonna get it.
Madden 13 Megatron. This was the season where he set the NFL record and caught 1,964 receiving yards, and he caught a league high 122 passes. So he was actually great.
Yeah.
Although the Lions, never really too amazing.
Yeah. His curse was the same as Barry Sanders' curse. He got drafted by the Lions. That's not on Madden. That's on the Lions.
2014, they made the playoffs. 2015, they had a down year at 7-9, and then 2016, they made the playoffs again at 9-7, but lost that. So those were the good Megatron years.
Yeah. Basically, the only time the Lions have ever had any chance at all was with Barry Sanders or Calvin Johnson.
Yep. Recently, they went to the playoffs 2011, 14, and 16. They lost in the wild card every year, and they had Megatron for all of those. Before that, Barry Sanders, 1999. Again, losing wild cards repeatedly through the 90s, though. Been rough for the Lions.
Yep. Not a good run at all.
Cursed.
Yeah. Lions are cursed.
They're a cursed franchise. Forget freaking Madden.
Calvin Johnson did not suffer the Madden curse.
Madden 25 was 2014's Madden.
That was the 25th anniversary, right?
I think is what they were doing, yeah. 1989 to 2014 was 25 years of Madden, so they made it Madden 25.
Yeah.
Put a historical player on the cover, another Lion, Barry Sanders. Obviously couldn't be cursed as far as playing more, but he was cursed because he was on the Lions, I guess. So.
Yeah.
So Barry Sanders, though, not
Barry
cursed.
Sanders, not cursed.
Sherman on the cover of Madden 15. They went back to the normal players in the league. That was during the Legion of Boom. Seahawks were great.
Yeah.
And they won the Super Bowl over the Broncos. So Sherman actually no curse there. I mean, was a great cornerback and pretty much continues to be one. So the first defensive player to not be cursed on the cover.
Yep.
Madden 16, Odell Beckham Jr. on the cover. He caught almost 100 passes for 1,400 yards, 13 touchdowns in 15 games. Didn't have any injuries. From Madden 15, when Richard Sherman turned it around, it carried over into 2016. No curse.
Yeah, we'll say no curse. He's been pretty injury-riddled throughout his career, but I guess it wasn't the Madden curse that did that to him.
2017, the first tight end ever on the Madden cover, Rob Gronkowski.
Roberto.
Is his name Robert? I guess it would have to be. No, his name's Rob.
Yeah.
We could also call him Bob. Bob Kowski.
He says he likes to go by Roberto.
He likes to go by Roberto.
Roberto.
So he actually acknowledged the Madden curse and said he didn't believe in it, or that it didn't exist, or that it definitely wouldn't affect him.
He said he wasn't going to be affected, but he was definitely affected. He had hamstring injury, and then later on in the season, he had a major back injury that ended his season. So definitely the curse got old Roberto.
Curse.
Which then leads us to the 2018 cover with Tom Brady, which apparently had a GOAT edition released. So talking about there's going to be GOATs on this year's cover. They already had a GOAT edition, and Brady was on it.
Yep.
For the Patriots, coming off of one of his best seasons of his career. So, I mean, really, the Pats were always strong through the late 2000s. He lost a Super Bowl to the Eagles, but then came back and won the next year, and then had a kind of, obviously, his last year with the Pats was a little bit of a down year, but they still made the playoffs.
Yeah.
And got upset by the Titans when they were really hot. So, and then obviously he got traded to the Bucks, or released, and then we picked him up.
Well, he's a free agent. That was the first time he was ever a free agent.
Right.
And he chose the Bucks because the Bucks are awesome.
And he wanted that nice weather.
He wanted to wear those creamsicle jerseys that still elude him.
He wanted to have a boat parade and throw the Lombardi Trophy.
Boat parades are pretty cool.
They're Tampa's only, so no one else can do that.
Yeah.
So don't think about it.
Don't think about it.
So we're going to say Brady not cursed, obviously.
Yeah.
I mean,
I would say Brady's not cursed.
Next up, Antonio Brown in Madden 19.
So he played well, but this was the year that all the controversy and stuff happened where he was held out of that game that they needed to make the playoffs. Got traded to the Raiders. Stuff happened with his frostbite on his foot.
Yep.
And the helmet situation.
Yep.
He got into it with Mike Mayock. They released him. They tried to get the money back from him. He went and signed with the Patriots with Brady there. He had his like old trainer came out and accused him of sexual
Misconduct of some kind.
misconduct. Yeah,
Didn't he like throw some stuff out of a hotel room or something?
yeah, he did that. He did.
He did a lot of bad stuff.
Had some run-ins with some movers. He tried his hand at being a rapper.
We should get that. I've not heard that. Was it any good?
No.
Okay. Cursed.
Yeah. So, I mean, he's since recovered from the curse, but I feel like the curse definitely derailed him in a mental way for sure, and kind of gave him bad luck.
Had a riff with Roethlisberger about not being named team MVP, so it's like being on the cover went to his head, and then he had all these mental issues off the field that spiraled. Like, so we're gonna say he was cursed, but he's the first player to ever actually recover from the curse.
Yeah.
I mean, because he's turned it around with Tampa.
So far.
Far.
He won a Super Bowl with us, so
Yeah.
he played well. I think the stats of him in like the last 5 games or something were like he was one of the top 5 wide receivers, and then I think he was one of the best wide receivers in the playoffs despite missing a game. So he bounced back, but the year he was on the cover, he definitely struggled. So I think we're gonna go with the old cursed monster.
So then, moving on to Madden 20, Mahomes on the cover. Clearly not cursed. He won MVP. He did dislocate his kneecap, though.
That's a curse.
He only missed 2 games.
It's still a curse.
And they lost his first game back, but they did play their way back into dominance and won the final 6 games of that season. So, despite the Madden cover, they won the Super Bowl that year.
But he did get hurt.
He did. Is that enough, though?
I mean, for me, it's enough.
All
What do
right.
you guys think? Tell us in the comments what you think.
There was an article like, was Mahomes so good he broke the Madden curse? It's like, other players been pretty good. In the last few years, like you said, I think Brady, obviously.
I think mainly it's like
Sherman played great
that next year, though. It's like, what happens to you
that year.
the year that you're on the cover as you're playing that year?
I mean, it's hard, though, because if you make the Madden cover, you obviously did something great that year, and the only place to go is down, almost. Because if you played that great, how are you going to play even better? We're going to say Mahomes, not cursed. Or you're going to say cursed because he got injured.
Yeah, I'm gonna
Even
go
though it
with
was
cursed.
two games, and they went on to win the Super Bowl.
I think we should go with curse.
All right.
It's an injury that kept him out of games.
And then the most recent Madden cover to date, Madden 21, Lamar Jackson.
He was on there because of his MVP performance, and then he came back down to earth a little bit from the cover, but he wasn't injured or anything.
Right.
So I think he escaped the curse.
He had 1,000 yards rushing in 2 seasons back to back. So 2019, he was MVP, rushed for 1,000 yards, got the cover, rushed for 1,000 yards again. So didn't have any injuries.
So he's good.
Curse free.
He's curse free, unlike Patrick Mahomes.
And then we don't know. We don't know the next cover. So I don't know. What do you guys think? Do you believe in the curse still? Is it still a thing? Was it ever a thing? Do you ever want your player to not be on the cover because you believe in the curse? You know?
I feel like I've always wanted a buck to not be on the cover because of that.
Because you think
Because usually it's going to be one of your better players.
Yeah.
And if you lose one of your better players, it's usually not a good thing for your season. So Brady was on it before, and he escaped the curse.
he might be on it again, though. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Speculation right now is he's going to be on it with Mahomes. So what do you guys think? Let us know in the comments. Do you believe in the Madden curse, or is it just a big hoax? Thanks for watching this video. Make sure you subscribe to get more of our football and Madden related content. We'll catch you guys in the next video.
All right, well, I'll let you handle the cursing from now on then.
I could just I'll put it in post. I have like a hammer sound I use when I'll fly graphics.
Nice.
I'll just make it go.
Yeah, what do they do that on TMZ?
Oh, do they do that?
This person did this.
Slut.
What? Pretty much. It's like, oh my god,
Bankrupt.
that's aggressive.
Yeah.